Hi, welcome to Club Rats. My name is John.
I'm Jesiah.
I'm Fernando.
We're just going to break down the national championship game between the Florida Gators and the Houston Cougars. Florida won by 2 points.
Gator boys stay hot.
Gator boys stay hot.
It was a great basketball game. Probably one of the best games of the year, if not the best.
It was honestly everything you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say, you wish he shot it at the end. Like I mean, not for you because you had Florida, but
you want to see a shot go.
You
up.
want to see a shot go
of
up just to see if it goes in or out.
Yeah,
exactly.
Let's start with you, Fernando. I want you to talk about your bets. I want you to talk about the highs and lows you felt in that second half. Because me and John, you had us dying over here. We thought you were going to have a heart attack. You're stressing out. He had a lot of money, and it's up to him if he wants to disclose that. But yeah, I want Fernando to break it down.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had the Gators, obviously. I was on them all year. And I mean, the Gator boys stay hot, dude. I was going into the half, we were down 3. I still felt like, all right, like we're right within the arm's reach. Houston plays gritty defense. We'll make adjustments. But then Houston just came out and cracked them. They went up like what for 12?
12.
They were up 12 with like 12 minutes left. Which I mean, I know there's a lot of time, but
Especially in college.
yeah, the Gators.
That's
I think
an
their
eternity.
largest deficit in the March Madness was 10, and they came back and won. So I was like, all right, so it's just destined to be. As soon as we started getting on that run and Clayton started hitting those and ones, I'm like, we're going to win this game. Emotional roller coaster, dude.
How low was your lowest point during that game?
I thought it was over at a certain point. I'm like, dude, they're down 12.
when you hit the 1-3 to go up 7, that's game.
Dude, no, it's over.
I'm looking. I'm like, that's not the game.
Dude, but oh my god.
The thing that was interesting about that game, I thought Houston, they played their style of game the majority of the game.
Yeah, they did.
Florida won at Houston's style.
Yeah, they did.
So
They
I have
beat
to
'em
give.
at their own game.
Yeah, Florida was. Clayton had a bad game for like about 80% of the game, but in the last 20% of the game, he was good. He had the game-winning stop. He had. Did he make the game-winning basket?
Yeah, no, he had a couple and ones.
No, it was the guy that made the
He had a couple threes.
one free throws to kind
But
of seal the game.
all of his points did come in the last.
He had 2 big and ones. He hit
10
a
minutes of the
3.
game.
He
2
finally
threes,
hit a
yeah.
3.
Yeah, he was big time.
And then he hit all his free throws. So.
He had a
free
steal.
throws.
He had a steal that led to How.
Him getting fouled and making
Yeah,
2 free throws.
it was him that got it.
Yeah.
How was big too.
Yeah,
How got a block, then he got an and one on that. That kind of started that.
Yeah,
that
as soon as Hal
started
hit that,
that started the
But
Florida run.
the kid who won the game, Richard,
yeah,
he
shout
was.
out.
He kept him in the first half.
He kept him in the first
Richard got essentially the game-winning steal,
Yeah.
the possession prior to the final possession.
If
Yeah.
he didn't
And-
shoot that well in the first half,
14 of 28.
they could have been. He was 4 for 5 from 3. They could have been down maybe 12 or 15, and you never just.
He had
come
half
back.
their points in the
He
first
was-
half.
yeah,
14
yeah.
of their
He
28
was
points.
huge, for sure.
John, let's talk about you. You had the other side of that. So
I-
you also
yeah.
didn't have much. You only put
No.
small money on it.
Yeah.
But talk about that side of things.
I mean, it wasn't. I think you saw the game. It could have gone either way. I put a small bet on Houston. I thought the momentum from the game against Duke, that game, it was like an inspiring game. Watching them just like choke Duke down to nothingness. It was awesome. They just kept breaking them down systematically. And this game was the complete opposite. I thought Houston was in control, and then Florida just kind of wore 'em out as the game went on and just made the bigger plays when they needed to. And Houston's offense in the half court
Yeah, they have
was
nowhere to go.
it was bad. I mean, they didn't get many good looks. It was a really bad offensive game for them. When they were getting steals on defense or playing a little bit more up tempo, they had some
That's one
moments.
thing, yeah.
But also, the key to the game, Florida turned the ball over 9 times in the first half.
Yeah, that was.
They only had like 3 or 4 turnovers in the second half. I said that
Most
on the
of them were
previous show.
early.
I think I said that at halftime, if Florida doesn't turn the ball over, they're going to win this game.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened.
Yeah. At one point when they cut the lead down to 4 in the second half, it showed turnovers at that point. I think Florida had 14 or 12, 13 around that, and Houston only had 2 still.
Yeah.
And it showed the last, 10 minutes of that game that to only be down 4 with that much of a turnover discrepancy, it's crazy. Clayton definitely sealed that game for them. And then the guy that turned the ball over last minute twice, Sharp, he couldn't even get a shot off the two biggest plays of the game. You said something, John, prior to the final possession. Just get a shot up because you have their offense is offensive rebounds.
Yeah.
And
they can get and ones off those dunks. I'm not even. If he got that ball up, who knows what happens underneath the basket? They probably tie the game.
I think they took too much time.
Just chuck it up. Yeah, they should chuck it up.
They should have just went quick too, because even if they don't score, they can set their press up.
Yeah,
you can just go right into defense still. Yeah. So
I don't think Houston's coach believed they could win in overtime. If it went.
I mean, also, you don't get this far and not believe they could win in overtime. So I think they got it, or at least they thought it.
We're being critical of them. They lost by 2 points. I mean, it wasn't like they played awful. They just came up short. Sometimes it just happens, you know.
2 big turnovers.
I noticed Florida's length was bothering Houston too as the game went on.
Yeah.
Even though Florida's, I don't think was as athletic as Houston, pure jumping, but
also none of Florida's guys were in foul trouble. I noticed. I think 3 of Houston's main guys were in foul trouble. Yeah. Cryer had 3. The one dude with the awful sideburns, he ended up fouling out. So
Tugley, I think.
Yeah. So Houston, even though the foul discrepancy wasn't anything crazy, Houston's main guys dealt with foul trouble. Florida's guys didn't.
Florida has a lot more depth too. They have like 3-4 guys on the bench that can.
Except the big guy on the bench, you couldn't stand him. The big guy on Florida's bench, he shot 2 bricks.
I think his name was.
Dude, I remember.
He shot 2 bricks of free throws.
Dude, it was hilarious. Right before you pulled up, John and I were watching like a random position. I'm like, what the hell is he doing out there? I was like talking shit.
He has 2
he gets like a block that leads to a 3, and John's
nice.
like, "Oh, there you go."
But then in the second half, he had a wide open putback layup, and he just hits backboard.
Here's the final play right here.
Here's the final play. It took a minute to set up. You almost think they should kind of went for a 2-for-1. I mean, Florida has shown that they missed some free throws. Not saying they're a bad free throw shooting team.
Houston was just extended so far away from the basket, though. There's really nothing you can do.
Maybe someone rolls and you go to overtime. You know, I don't know why they.
This got back though. This is why Houston couldn't win the national championship. Their half-court offense.
It's god awful.
They didn't have anything. Sometimes you do have to give the ball to somebody and say, we need a basket. And they don't have that guy.
Florida has a couple of them, so.
The fucking announcers said Sampson's halftime speech was just him writing effort on the whiteboard or something, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, it was like, it was effort or hustle, just something toughness. That's what it was. He wrote toughness on the whiteboard. It's like, you got to put the ball in the basket sometimes.
They're tough.
They are tough. But I guess Sampson thought he had to repeat that to them, right? But this has been a awesome March Madness, even though it hasn't been the upsets that we've had in previous years. But to have 4 1 seeds in the Final Four, and all of them be great games.
Yeah. It was like heavyweight fights.
What did you guys think of the Duke-Houston game?
Total collapse. I blame the coach. I had a good amount of money on the Duke game, not as much as Fernando had on this game, but I had a decent amount of money on it, and it was a heartbreaking loss because I'm watching the whole game like, oh, this is in the bag, easy money. Yeah. I even had a friend, Alex, text me. He's like, I told you Duke's them, and Duke did not make it. Duke is not them. Yeah. It was heartbreaking for me to watch. Not even being a Duke fan, but I definitely blame coaching on that. So what about you, Fernando?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great game. I thought it was over once they went up like 14. I was like, because Houston can't score. I was like, there's no way Houston has enough to keep up with Duke. But yeah, that has to be the biggest choke job I've ever seen in all of college basketball. I blame when something like that happens. I feel like you can't just blame one person. It's definitely
it was a multitude of things. It was Proctor trying to play hero ball to a certain extent. Turn the ball over, missed the free throw, and but they weren't. Also, probably the main thing, they weren't boxing out. Duke did not get any defensive rebounds the last handful of minutes.
It seemed like they were just letting them lay it up too.
It was bad. There was Gino, but it was a total collapse. You also had Duke, John. So what did you think about the game?
I thought Duke. I mean, early on it looked like they were dominating.
By every aspect. They literally won every aspect of basketball. And
the final stats even say that. They had more points, rebounds, assists, less turnovers, better shooting percentage, better 3-point percentage. more steals, more
points in the
blocks.
paint.
And
But
you
toughness is where
They were
Houston had
lacking.
it.
Exactly.
Houston had the toughness.
Eagle. Yeah. No, it really was. They could have. I don't know how Duke lost. I mean, I know how they lost. I watched it. They did. I mean, they did make the fundamental mistakes, though. Anytime you see a crazy upset or like a comeback like that, like Trey Burke against Kansas, if you rewatch that last like 2-3 minutes of that game, it's amazing. The plays that Kansas like couldn't make, and then as soon as they wouldn't make a play, Michigan would just capitalize on it in the best way ever. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened in the Houston game.
From offensive rebounds to the turnovers.
But was his name Proctor? He had a horrible turnover off his foot or his knee. He kicked the ball out of bounds, and then he missed free throws.
Yeah, he's like
that
a
were huge.
67% free throw shooter.
I would say where I blame Shire, I would have had my team a little bit more ready for that type of situation of a trap. You know, it was
the only
happen.
way Houston could win a game
Florida,
is by toughness.
That's why Florida won the national championship. They handled the trap. Like Duke couldn't. That's literally the difference in the game.
They almost turned it over on that.
But they didn't.
They did almost turn it over.
But they didn't. But if that was the difference in the game.
Yeah.
That play. But seeing Duke lose was glorious. I mean, it was.
I was only upset because I had money on them, but I've never been a Duke fan in my life.
Yeah, no, I bet money on it too. Yeah. I was just betting. I bet this game. I'm not. I mean,
yeah, it is what it is.
I want a good game too, and I'm not betting big, so it's just more for fun. So.
And then on the other side, the Florida and Auburn game, I thought that was a great game. I thought the refs were a little bit weird, though. There's some calls against Florida that didn't really make sense. Condon had a huge block, and they said he hit him on the body.
Oh, yeah, that was
on
terrible.
one play. I definitely thought Florida got in Broom's head and kind of made him a crybaby whiner. Whine, like Dan Hurley. But I had Auburn. I brought the spread up. I had them plus 6.5, so I covered that spread. But I had Auburn winning the whole thing. Was I surprised that they lost? No. Was I watching the game, I was kind of disappointed because I thought Auburn almost had that game. And I felt like they lost. Kind of like this game. If Florida finds a way to win and they just Clayton hit some crazy
Auburn
shots.
Could have won.
Yeah.
You know, Auburn had their chances.
They had plenty of chances,
Clayton,
actually.
though, took over in that game. As
Completely.
bad as he was in this game against Auburn, he was awesome.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He would look like
Every
the best
metric.
player on the court. I mean, he dominated. That's why they won the game. And that's why I think they won this game in such, like, impossible way because he didn't come on until the end. As soon as he came on, the game was over. They dominated.
2 and 1s, the 3, and he had the game-winning stop. He jumped at the guy and made him hesitate.
I do think this Florida coach too. You have to give him credit.
I think he's a good coach.
He outcoached his. So he was hired by Bruce Pearl at Auburn. He was an assistant at Auburn, leaves Florida, and then beats his old head coach. And Bruce Pearl. I mean, everybody makes fun of him, but he's not we make fun of him, but he's not a horrible coach. You know, you got to beat him.
Yeah.
And Sampson, I think, is even a better coach. Sampson's a legit coach. Yeah. I don't know if his in-game tactic isn't amazing sometimes. He was actually better when he was younger. He used to coach in Indiana, but he got fired for paying a kid at Indiana, so they fired him. But he was 22-4 when they fired him.
He was really just ahead of his time.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know about his in-game strategy is not great, but his interpersonal skills, those guys do. They do what he tells them. I mean, they give him maximum effort. They don't lose because of not trying hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And their defense at times, when they get that defense rolling, it could take over the game.
100%.
It was like they would make a couple plays, steal, dunk, block shot, 3, and then you're like, wow, this team's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just their half court, like what
their
you're
half court
saying.
offense.
It's just got off.
I do believe that in any championship run, you do have to half court offense, and this is even in the NBA, is what determines if you're going to win the game or not. Mm-hmm. Can you score in the half court offense? Because there are some games if you turn the ball over 20 times in the game, you're probably going to lose. Yeah. But if it's not, it's a regular, anywhere from 8 to 12 turnovers in a game. It's probably going to come down to your half court offense.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's why the Celtics are so hard to guard because they got 5
options.
8 guys that come into the game, and they'll give you different offensive options.
Yeah,
that's true.
What do you guys think of this UNLV coach? Do you guys excited for him or Josh Pashner? I think his name is.
Yeah, I don't know.
He gives
too
a
much
little
about
Tom Cruise vibe in Risky Business.
He does a little.
To me, he looks like Tom Cruise from what's the movie with Jamie Foxx?
Where's the Hitman?
Collateral.
Great movie.
That's what
That's
this
a great
guy looks
underrated
like.
movie, by the way.
Very underrated.
People make fun of it. I like that movie.
People make fun of it. I actually think Tom Cruise is like
Billy
a great
doesn't
actor.
like it,
He doesn't. He's a hater.
I know.
Our other co-host Billy, I guess, doesn't like Collateral, but this guy looks like Tom Cruise over here from Collateral. It's great.
He actually really does.
What'd you guys think of the 2 technicals they called on Florida?
The first technical was unbelievable. They called the T because the players are not on the level of the court, and a couple of them put their leg up when the foul was called. So a few of them got up. Horrible call because the whole time Houston's doing the same fucking thing. But the second technical,
I didn't know that was the call.
Yeah, that's what they said. So some players got up and they said they can't stand on the level of the court, so that's why they teed them up.
And
the
Houston was doing that a lot.
That's crazy.
Houston was doing that the whole game.
That's crazy.
The second technical, you could argue it was a bad call. Yes, I thought the guy on Florida, I can't remember his name, but the dude that has the beads in his hair, I thought he blocked the guy clean.
Yeah, he definitely.
That guy was a low too, by the way.
What?
Yeah,
the big dude for
he
Florida.
He locked up Broom, dude.
Yeah,
Broom couldn't score on him.
But yeah,
that guy's a man.
I thought he got a clean block, and then he calls foul. He screams at the ref, but that's not why the ref teamed him. The ref teamed him because he slammed the ball on the floor. It doesn't look like he put much effort in it either. He kind of just went like this, bounced above the backboard 15 feet.
Super
Yeah.
strength.
But that's what I thought about the team.
But he didn't even launch it. He just
set it
down.
down.
With his power.
Yeah.
That's a man-child.
He can take your head off.
That's a
he's
man-child.
Yeah, he reminds me of like Francis Ngannou, dude. Just fucking cracky.
There were times during that game that the refs were making some sketchy calls to start the second half. They called 2 offensive fouls on Florida that were debatable.
I thought it got better though. As the
It
game
definitely got better.
I don't think it determined the outcome.
They lightened the
end.
calls. They were letting them fight, which I mean that's what you want. Like you can't make a call like what the refs did in the Duke game. You can't do that. You can't call it over the back in a tie fucking game.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And you can argue it wasn't even a foul. The ball's on the side. It's not in front of the guy boxing out. He didn't jump, give him a piggyback ride. So I'm glad the refs lined up. But to start the second half, it was rough. Because he called the T. The bad T when the player stepped up on the floor. Come on.
It looked like they even tried to even it out a bit. They started calling a little tick-tock fouls on Houston.
There's a play where Richard
he tripped.
Got a DHO from Howe. And he kind of tripped. The guy behind him was kind of riding him a little bit. Is it unnecessary contact? Yeah, it's a foul technically, but should they call it? Probably not.
How much do you think he makes a year?
At UNLV?
Yeah, I know that.
Maybe like $2 million.
I was gonna say 2.5.
A year?
Yeah.
500,000.
Wow.
$500,000.
That's a joke.
I thought refs. I thought these guys got paid in the millions. Is he like a whatever coach?
No, UNLV don't have any money.
Which is BS.
That's
They just don't want to. They just don't want to give it out to these guys.
So, do you know anything about this guy, John?
Yeah, he coached at Memphis. He won.
So was this prior to Penny?
Yes.
Okay.
He was John Calipari's right-hand man, like when they got D Rose.
Gotcha.
He was the guy taking the ACT test for Derrick Rose when he got in trouble.
That's funny.
I'm joking, but they did that for Derrick Rose. They did that.
Yeah.
That's what he got in trouble for. Somebody took his test. It wasn't Derrick Rose to get into the school.
Not a smart guy.
Yeah.
So has he coached since?
Yeah. Okay. So he won at Memphis.
Yeah.
He won I think they were in Conference USA at the time. He won like the regular season there in the tournament. Made the NCAA tournament. I think he made a Sweet 16 or at least a round of 32. Mm-hmm. So he won there. Then he took the Georgia Tech job. Now he only won one ACC tournament there. He didn't do as well as Georgia Tech. So then he got fired. He's a legit coach.
Oh, okay.
He can coach. I'm actually impressed that we got him for $500,000.
Yeah,
it's almost like
it seems cheap.
If he wins at UNLV though, he's gonna leave.
Yeah, of course.
He'll be out.
Is it a 1-year job?
To win? No, he does need probably 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
We would because it's gonna. He's not gonna go. He'd have to make the tournament like probably 2 years in a row. Then he'd get somebody with better.
What players could he get? Because now, since he's a name, even though I haven't heard of him, you clearly know who he is. You've heard of him, Fair. So, will players enter the transfer portal and go to UNLV
if they pay him? If they have money, yeah. That's so the transfer portal.
But they don't have money.
Well, it's weird. I know some of the numbers they paid the guys last year, and it's sizable money. Like they can they can put money together. He can recruit. I mean, you saw those Memphis teams that John Calipari had.
If he got Rose,
but they had other guys too. I mean, they were like they were a powerhouse. Memphis for
he
a
stole
while.
from people from Gonzaga and took them to Georgia Tech as well.
Okay, so it seems like he knows how to talk.
I'm impressed UNLV got him.
Yeah.
Because he's a legit coach. Now, is he going to work out? I don't know. But no offense to Kruger, but Kruger, I think it helped that Kruger was his dad. His dad was the coach who was successful.
Yeah.
Lon Kruger was a great coach. He made it to the Sweet 16, won the Mountain West tournament twice, beat Jimmer Fredette in those games, one of the games.
Yeah.
So they I think his son kind of rode that a little bit. This guy's
He's a real coach.
Like if he does well here, he could, like, if USC fired their coach, or
he could go there,
or like even maybe like he could even upgrade within the Mountain West. He could maybe go to Boise State, Colorado State. There's probably schools he could go to.
Do you think that USC coach is a good coach? Because I feel like after Florida Gulf Coast, he never really did anything.
The guy that's at USC right now?
Yeah, isn't that the guy from Florida?
No, the guy at USC now is the coach. He's from Arkansas.
Oh, okay. What happened to the Florida Gulf Coast coach?
He must have been fired.
Yeah.
But that's how college basketball. That's how it is.
Yeah,
these guys, it's so hard to keep a job. Like, you do have to look at some of these coaches that stay at schools for like 30, 40 years, like Mark Few, Tom Izzo.
Yeah.
They're not maybe like the greatest coaches ever. Like, they do make mistakes.
But they are loyal.
But they're loyal. But they can constantly
find a way to win.
Izzo's made the tournament for every year since '99, I think.
That's insane.
So, like, I mean, one of the years he
probably
got
like voter bias.
One of the years he shouldn't have got it. They were like 17 and 12, and they made the tournament. I was like, probably not. And they got killed in the first round too.
Yeah.
Like,
so
it's a charity.
With this tournament, what'd you guys think of this? The whole thing. John, let's start with you. I
thought the beginning was very disappointing, to be honest. Not any major upsets. I know people were talking about McNeese, but I'm talking like where you're shocked. You wake up and you're like, Middle Tennessee State they have a chance to win this game against Michigan State. Like they're beating them, and you feel them like they're gonna beat them.
You can feel it.
Yeah. When Virginia lost to the Mud Dogs, the Maryland Mud Dogs.
Oh yeah, the Retrievers.
Yeah, the
Retrievers.
Exactly. And they didn't just lose to them; they lost by like 20.
Out. Yeah,
they were hitting threes. Like they embarrassed them. And Virginia was the number one team in the tournament.
Yeah.
That was like shocking.
Did not happen this year.
There wasn't even mid upsets like that, or even like crazy shots like Poole shot against Houston.
Yeah, no game winners.
That was like a crazy. Everyone remembers that shot.
There was only one game winner.
But Queen was that was like a mid ranger. It was a great shot. But I'm talking like threes.
He went and got that bucket though.
He did.
It wasn't just a standstill shot.
No. It was a tough shot. He probably traveled on it though too.
Yeah, I saw
travel
that.
for college aspects, but
yes.
As a basketball player, as we all are, not to that level. That's not. You're not calling that travel. The refs aren't calling it. That's the game winner. He got that bucket. And that shot definitely moved him up in the draft ranks. Like, he's projected to go round 10.
Now he's going like 5, maybe 5 through 8.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there.
Queen's going 5 through 8, I'm guessing. So, that shot definitely jumped him up.
And he produced all year. Everybody kept talking about the kids at Rutgers. Well, Harper's son.
Hey, Harper's going to be the second pick.
No, I know. No, they're going higher. But
he's great.
I was more impressed with Queen than those two guys.
Yeah.
They had moments, but I'm talking consistent
I'm not big on Ace
whole
Bailey.
Year.
I still think I think the
Bailey
draft's gonna be
athletically,
great.
he made a dunk against Michigan that was insane.
He is good. But
then I saw him. But in that same game, he was like 2 for 14.
But it's because he's young. These
terrible.
NBA players or these NBA scouts and teams like these 19, 20-year-old guys that they could mold and grow. Yeah, exactly. But Harper on Rutgers is going to be the real deal. I like him a lot. But Flag's going to be one. But yeah, Queen hitting that shot, that was a huge shot. Fair, you're also big on the tournament every year. You love college hoops.
I didn't get to finish.
Sorry, John. Yeah,
the beginning part was disappointing.
I pulled a Kanye on you. My bad.
But then it got.
I'm gonna let you finish. My bad.
It got better. We don't turn into Kanye.
We don't want Kanye anymore.
He comes out with this costume.
I thought that was
come out with the hood.
I did think
Eagle.
The tournament got better because the one thing about when there's that big upset, you even saw it with McNeese. They had the one upset, but as soon as they played Purdue just smacked them.
It
wasn't even a game.
It
It wasn't good. So it was good. Just all the best teams were there. There's really no upsets.
4-1 seeds. Yeah.
I'm even talking about the Sweet 16. It was 4 versus 5, 2 versus 3. I mean, it was
Arkansas, but that wasn't shocking.
It wasn't
really.
shocking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a major conference.
Well,
Actually,
they were underdogs by 6.5 points. I think that's what jumped
Spencer
up to.
Haywood. He's amazing.
Oh,
Cat
nice.
signed
I
him
take
up
that
at
back because I was shocked they beat St. John's.
Legend.
I was too. He's a legend, yeah.
St. John's, actually, speaking of not having a half-court offense, they don't have a half-court offense. And they're one guy that could produce in the half-court.
Terrible. That game.
What was he? 0 for...
No, it was like 3 for 17.
3 for 17, and it was so bad that,
he got benched. And now he's in the
Al
transfer
Pacino
portal.
benched him.
Done. That's
Yeah.
He he literally just...
Well, yeah, if I was that player...
I don't know. I don't know what happened with them because that was because he had a great year.
He had a phenomenal
The
year.
kid played great.
Didn't he get like AP Player of the Year or something?
Something like that, yeah. Or he won Big East Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Big East, that's what it
But
was.
that's still...
Flag got the Player of the Year.
He was awesome, and now he's just gone. I don't even know where he's going to go.
No,
But-
maybe he'll go to the Rebels.
The transfer
might go to
portal...
UNLV.
The transfer portal's insane, though. Michigan got... they got the number 1 player in the transfer portal. His name's like Axial Ladurgan or something like that.
I've never heard of him.
He's from UAB. He's like
Is he big,
okay.
guard?
6'9", 235.
Okay.
He's
wing.
like a forward. And then they got this athletic
Big
guy
one.
from Illinois. I can't pronounce his name. 6'9", 250.
Oh wow! So they're replacing Wolf.
And they got Cadeau from
Golden.
North Carolina as their point guard.
Is Golden a senior?
Yeah,
Golden's gone.
Oh
he's
yeah.
a grad player, right?
Now the kid they got from UAB, he could get drafted. If he doesn't get drafted, he'll go to Michigan. So that's not.
That's not out the realm,
That's a
yeah.
bad deal. That could go bad. So they have to pick some. That's how fluid this whole transfer portal. These guys just go.
Jump at as soon as there's any adversity. I mean, we just saw with the kid from St. John's. He's gone.
But Dusty May created a team out of nothing. This guy UNLV Pastor, if he put the right transfer portal together, UNLV could all of a sudden be a top 5 Mountain West team and be contending for the tournament. You can turn around in one season. So that's the transfer portal. But to finish, what I was going to say, as it went on, I thought the tournament got great. I thought the games I feel like the level of play picked up each round.
Yeah, 100%.
All the way to the end.
I agree.
Those are the 2 best teams.
I don't know if there is like a best 7-game series, like if Houston would have beat Duke, but that one game, damn, that shit was crazy. Yeah. But Fair, let's jump to you. What did you think about the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much kind of agree with John. I mean, I may not be as down on the first round like he is. I enjoyed it. But I do think that the level of competition did step up every round. Like, you could notice a little bit more intensity. Like, the teams who are better playing each other. It was definitely super competitive. I was trying to think of a team similar to Houston, but there really isn't, is there? I was thinking maybe second would be St. John's with how they play defense.
And Arkansas, I don't think Arkansas presses, but Arkansas does have like some length. Brazil, they'll make a play where they just grab the ball, go up and dunk it.
Even though Houston dismantled them, Tennessee plays a similar way of defense to them. They press constantly.
Yeah, that's true.
Tennessee's actually way better in the half court. Not by much. Their efficiency is way higher, but they take the whole shot clock.
Tennessee's underachieving. They underachieve in the big moments.
Yeah, they do.
Should. I'm not saying they should have an national
championship.
championship.
Them and Houston should have been a good matchup.
Yeah,
they're almost a mirror image of each other. Yeah.
They just don't have a go-to really scorer.
Yeah.
And I think Houston does have better athletes overall compared to...
Yeah, probably.
Houston's conditioning is the best I've ever seen.
That mile is crazy. What is it, average is 5:20 or something?
Everybody can do 5 miles.
That's unbelievable.
The fastest is 5:19. The slowest is 5:45 or something.
Yeah, the big man.
Yeah. And it's like a 7-footer running a 5-minute mile. That's crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Those guys are moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved this Final Four. I thought this has been one of the most entertaining tournaments in the last maybe 2-3 years.
They got to work on this guy's wardrobe on the right. It's just, man, that's brutal.
Looks like a disaster.
What is that?
Red tie, navy blue coat, striped shirt, and
look at his shoes.
Gray slacks.
Jesus.
He might be colorblind.
At least the guy in the middle's got it all matches. It looks clean at least.
Yeah, the one on the left.
Both the guys in the
got the baby blue and Hayward.
No, Hayward's balling. Sorry.
No, you're good. Speaking of that, and you kind of touched on it with the transfer portal. is the NIL deals ruining the mid-major and these upsets that will happen in the future? Will we ever see a big upset again?
Yeah, I think we'll for sure definitely see a big upset. I think next year's tournament you'll see a lot more upsets.
With the NILs, I mean, these bigger schools got more money to offer these guys, so the better players technically will
let me
go
say
to the
this
better
too.
teams.
Houston, they're considered a blue blood now, but they were not. They were in Conference USA. They just got into the Big 12. So like 5 years ago, Houston would have been considered a mid-major.
But they're still the 1 seed right now.
No, now but I'm saying they're just they just became a Power 5 team.
Yeah,
They weren't that like 5 years ago. You could win at Houston, and he made a Final Four. This is his second Final Four, but it wasn't like Duke or like Indiana, North Carolina, Michigan State. It wasn't that level of conference play yet.
Yeah.
But you're right. Are we going to see like Yale beat Auburn?
Yeah, that happened just last year.
That happened last year. Yeah, Yale.
Yeah, it's gonna happen, dude.
I do think there will be upsets. So we're as much as we're blowing smoke up Houston. If you watch them against Purdue, Purdue was a middle of the road Big Ten team, and they had him. I thought they had him when that kid hit the corner three. I thought Houston was done. To Sampson's credit, he called a great out of bounds play, and won the game. But that very well could have just been Purdue. If that game goes to overtime, that's in Indiana. Purdue probably wins that game. They had all the momentum. And you can tell in that same game, Houston was having problems scoring in the half court.
Yeah,
they scored on an inbounds play underneath the basket.
Yeah, exactly.
They didn't have a play.
It was just a breakdown.
I would have called the same play tonight against Florida.
Near.
They might have tied the game.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I personally think that NILs are gonna. Well, they kind of already are. They're going to kill the smaller schools, and the better players are going to go to the top tier schools because of money. So I think that does kind of kill the upsets. But I enjoyed this tournament. I enjoyed it.
It was a great tournament.
It was.
You can't. I mean, that was it wasn't NBA basketball, but that was a high level.
We all made a good amount of money betting wise.
Yeah.
On this tournament, so it was successful for us.
Yeah, for sure.
Fair. What about you? What's your opinion on the NILs?
I mean, I have nothing against NILs. I'm actually for it. I mean, I think the more seasons, like in the next couple of years, they'll figure something out a little better.
He's a monster. Ooh, misery.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm for it. I do think it hurts the mid majors, but I do think they could still, every now and then they'll come up with a little run and upset.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see where this goes in the next couple of years. But I've liked it so far.
The only thing I don't have a problem with the NIL. I think the guys should get paid.
Yeah, I think they should get paid too.
Like Clayton and Condon and Hott and everybody, the whole Florida team. Are they going to be NBA players? Probably not. No, exactly. Maybe one of them might get in
for a year or two.
Yeah,
if that.
So if they're getting paid
now
$500,000, $1 million, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Michigan paid the kid in the portal $2 million. No, like $2 to $4 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Jeez.
They outbid Kentucky.
Wow. Well, they got more money than Kentucky.
I know, but Kentucky is a known paying team. School. They tried to get Chris Webber away from Michigan in '89, and we still outbid them. Yeah. But Kentucky was the first one to offer. They didn't want to ever talk about it, but it's James Conn being fed. but
look how they massacred my boy.
Exactly. Exactly. You ever seen this movie?
I own it, which is funny, but I've never seen it.
Oh, it's a brilliant movie.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
What movie is this?
Misery. It's amazing. So
it's him and Tommy Lee Jones is in this.
No. That's Kathy Bates.
Who's the other guy in this?
The sheriff. He does like a Ozempic commercial back then. I don't know what it is.
Is he on Ozempic?
But this is he's an author who writes books like love story books, like cheesy love romance books. And she's his biggest fan, so she finds out that he's in Colorado, like at his cabin. She sets up a trap, gets him in a car accident, and she finds him pulls him out of the car.
She knows where he's gonna be,
and his legs are broken. So she's like basically holding a hostage, like saying, "I can't take you anywhere. You're like it's the snow." She has like excuses.
Oh my god,
she's a maniac.
That's scary.
Yeah, that's how it starts. Scary. It's a great movie. It's just. She won, and I think she won an Academy Award. She should have. It was
and then a few years later, she's Mama and Waterboy.
Yeah, exactly. That's how good an actor she is. Okay, back to the tournament though. Where we leave off at?
We were talking about NILs being good.
Oh, so I think it's too early to tell completely, but I will say this: just following the football, the nobody won the national championship except the SEC for like, was it like 14 out of 15 years? Maybe even
Something
longer.
like that,
It was something like, as soon as you could pay guys, Northern schools win.
Yeah.
So, which, not that Ohio State, it's impossible. They can win, but they don't win it.
But
So the ACC won.
No, but it wasn't just Ohio State. Michigan wins one, then Ohio State wins again. Like, it changed.
Yeah.
You could see. I don't know if it was the old way. I don't know if those schools would have won. Honestly.
Yeah, I don't know.
So
the only thing I do want to change about the NIL,
but they're not in majors though.
Well, I don't even know if this is even NIL, but I think it should be banned for players to like enter the transfer portal and like leave the teams mid-season.
They need to add end dates and begin dates.
Yeah, exactly.
There's windows. You can sign
100%.
with this team at this period, just
Yeah,
like the pros do. You
exactly.
can't. Like there was people on the Michigan team
that left
that,
before the tournament.
Yeah,
even started.
exactly. And there was somebody on other teams too. There were
Yeah.
other players.
It makes no sense.
I
I
mean,
mean,
it's
you have a
just-
free bid to the tournament and then you
That
just
guy.
leave. It doesn't make
isn't
any
that
sense.
Wilford
the guy?
Brimley, maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That guy. Sorry, Fernando.
No, you're good.
But that I agree. They just need to put a little more structure in it in
Yeah.
that sense. Like have common sense. If the whole like these guys think they're going to go play in the pros,
It's
and,
the same thing we talked about for college football. These players shouldn't be allowed to leave while the season's still going on.
Yeah,
That's fucking
exactly.
unbelievable.
so here, let me tell you this: in their NIL deal, if there's a game like number, or if you don't play for like no reason,
It's
you're
an
not getting
incentive,
paid.
Yeah.
Like if you're hurt, like if you blow your knee out, obviously you
That's
can't
different.
play. But if you're just like saying I'm sitting out, like
Yeah.
an NBA player, like, I'm not going to play
You
tonight.
can't play because of grades, like something like
Yeah,
that.
well, I don't even know if that's a thing now, but
Yeah, I'm sure they have people do what
But there is,
they
I'm sure there's a
did for,
restriction on the player. If they don't
Rose.
live up to
Yeah.
certain agreements, they don't get paid.
Yeah.
So,
I would say you have to complete the whole season, including the bowl games.
yeah.
A lot of people are for sitting out bowl games. I don't necessarily like it. I understand it, but
I will say, watching that, it's funny, the Michigan UC San Diego game, I feel like 7 years ago, UC San Diego would have won that game.
Yeah.
But it was like they were a class below of like physical stature.
yeah, physically.
They didn't have the size.
No.
You know?
I'm still shocked Michigan was only a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah,
They
But
barely-
They won by
I know.
three.
They ended up only winning
Think about
by
Michigan.
3.
They beat that team by 3, but then they have a 9-point lead against Auburn with like 12 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Michigan was a weird team.
That's
last
something
year.
that actually we got to talk about. 'Cause I think we all had Michigan plus 8.5 or whatever.
And it looks like it
was.
was an easy cover the whole time.
They're winning the whole fucking game.
And then they get blown out.
Oh my
Petford
God.
went nuts. He made every
Yeah.
shot. He was making hand one like mid-range jumpers. See, there's the crash site. There's the car.
I was impressed with them
It's not-
against A&M.
That was an impressive game.
Yeah.
I forgot about that game. Michigan was down 7 or 9 with like 10 minutes to go. They were the opposite, and then they went on like a 30-12 run.
Grace chilling.
Wolf went crazy that game, right?
Uh,
Or was that one?
Yeah, no.
Golden.
Rudy Gale, the transfer from
Gale.
Ohio State. He said, "I'm not a double agent anymore." the Ohio State, the Michigan
like,
fans,
"Guys,
like
I'm
when
on
he would have
your
a bad
side."
game, they're
Yeah.
like, "He's here. He's planted by them to sabotage us." People believe
pretty
that.
good, yeah.
But he won the game. He had like 26 points in the
He
tournament.
balled out.
What's your opinion on conspiracy theorists?
I think it's just a bunch of waste of time.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's
some
late.
of them are interesting. I mean, they're
No, not
conspiracies for a reason.
it's not that it's not
I don't
interesting.
think Gray likes the conspiracy theorists.
Dude, he
either.
was laying like on his back, like
He
a
was
human.
chilling.
I was
Yeah.
like, no,
As soon as
I
we
was like, that's
mentioned
cool.
fucking conspiracy
It's-
theorists, he starts.
I think
calling.
it's a lazy. It's like it's an interesting way. People want to make things interesting and fun and exciting. So instantly, if it's a conspiracy theory, it has that. But most things in life are just boring and cruel. That's just the reality of life.
Yeah.
So I think people try to have some excitement. I don't have a problem with reading it and talking about it, but it's when it becomes your main belief system that's a problem. I think.
Yeah. What's a conspiracy theory that you do believe in, John, or that you think has grounds?
I don't really believe in one. I mean, the moon landing one is kind of one that would be like, if I found out it was like a fake moon landing, I might believe it. But
Yeah.
that's
What about all the hints that Kubrick added into his movies? Like,
I think people were just taking set design way too literally.
okay.
I don't think it was that. It was also of the times too.
Mm-hmm.
Those things were cool in that time, like when the movie was being shot.
Yeah.
Late 70s, early 80s, NASA was like
Big deal.
Yeah, Ronald Reagan was, pointing at rockets and exploding in the sky.
Look at that.
Literally, I think it was not the Challenger. One of them went up.
One of them blew up, yeah.
It was just boom, everybody dead inside instantly. So it was of the times. And Kubrick liked to mess with people too, so he could have been doing stuff to mess with people. But that doesn't mean the moon landing was fake.
Yeah.
If you're gonna bring up
the reason why I brought that up is
Space Odyssey 2001.
Yeah, it holds up today.
It holds up today. The images in that are amazing. See, he's on the back of the book.
Look how they massacred my boy. It's great. But the reason why I brought up Kubrick in The Shining, it's in like the room that all the drama and nonsense that happens in. It's like room 237, and that's the same amount of miles it takes to get to the moon, shit like that, blah blah blah.
I mean, it could be
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one I haven't looked too much into, but there's some conspiracy theories that have grounds. But there was an episode that we didn't release a few weeks ago that you went off on conspiracy theories that I liked. So I was trying to get you going.
Yeah, no,
I was trying to get you going,
I don't
John.
hate them. I just think it's...
Some of them are true, dude.
Which one's true?
The moon landing, it's fake.
I just don't believe it.
There's no way it's real, dude. I don't believe
something that I mean, who would have thought we would have turned this into a conspiracy theory episode? But I was on the phone with John the other day, and he believes our government had nothing to do with 9/11. That it was just terrorists.
Well, I think it was. I don't think they paid attention.
Like they turned a blind eye to it.
Yeah.
To give them reason to get oil, right?
Well, no, I just think I think they knew that there was potential something going to happen. Somebody missed it. They didn't have their guard up. They weren't looking for it. I mean, if you ever go to the airport, it's not like TSA is the most like.
Well, back then it was nothing. Now these guys are walking around like super cops.
It was even worse.
Power trip, yeah.
But I mean,
it's all a mask. The TSA doesn't do anything, dude.
I don't want to do a conspiracy show. I think it's
kind of
it's fun. It's just fun nonsense.
It is. I mean, it's there's madness to it for sure. When's the last time you flew?
I haven't flown in a minute. Years.
Yeah, I mean it's
10 years.
It's just
at least.
it's because I remember flying in the '90s pre 9/11, and it was more like enjoyable.
I flew.
Now it's just like
it's just a hassle.
Yeah. I flew when I was 3, so it was prior 9/11.
It's not comfortable.
And again, I was 3, so I don't remember too much, but I remember it being hella easy. And then fast forward, I think my dad and I went to LA and we flew. This was like maybe 04, and we were in the airport for so long. So again, I was.
Well, if there's a delay, yeah, I've been.
But I don't know if there was a delay, but I think it's just
delays
with all the security they added post 9/11.
Yeah, it could be actually.
And that again, I don't remember much because I was 3, but from what I do remember, it was easy. We were in and out.
Well, when I flew to New York, for example, the plane I flew JetBlue, so the plane.
I like JetBlue.
It was good. But the plane came from the Dominican Republic, so because it came from an international, not United States place, it automatically has to be checked.
Yeah.
But then I'm like sitting there, I'm like, well, I'm at JFK. This is where the planes are coming to blow up the Twin Towers. I would understand them checking the planes still. It's still a target. So
of course.
I don't look at that as that. I'll wait an hour to make sure I'm not in a plane crash. I'm cool with it.
I'm cool.
When you fly, I think people it's like driving. When you fly, I think people just need to you're not going anywhere. It's going to suck. You're going to be trapped. You're going to be in tight spaces. Just accept your fate. Yeah. It's going to be awful. So you can't to get mad at the system and expect it to be perfect. I mean, most of the time you go and you get where you're going safely in a relatively quick time. But like if you wanted to go to this Final Four game like you were trying to go to,
I would have gone today.
You could have flown and came back, and it wouldn't have been. It's maybe what is that? 2-hour flight, 2.5 hours?
Like 2.5.
3 hours at most. It's not that bad.
That would have been a great game to go to.
Yeah,
dude, I know.
You probably got some Florida.
But that getting back to that, do you think that game
girls?
Being in Houston helped?
Houston?
I mean, being in San Antonio helped Houston a lot.
I think so. I mean, from what I saw, there was a lot of red, dude. It was loud when they were rolling. I mean, it was loud when the Gators rolled too, but I do think it gives Houston a bit of an advantage. But I don't think it's like a big deal breaker.
No,
you know,
I don't either. Especially more with these guys being pros, basically.
Yeah.
They play in these. They just played here on Saturday. It's the same arena.
Exactly.
They're not terrified of it.
Woohoo.
Yeah.
But let's conclude this episode. I'm Jesiah.
Fernando.
I'm John.
And we're the Club Rats. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. See you guys next week. Peace.